Okay. All right, so these are used, probably the most difficult part of any of this is that they are used a lot for word problems, but they're not difficult word problems. So let's do a word problem. Okay, so this really is how they find the distance of things. You know, when the surveyors stand out there with that instrument, clinometers or theodolometers, I think is how you say it. I don't remember, but they measure the angles of things, and then they measure the distances they can measure, and then they use law of sines and law of cosines, which we'll learn later, to find the longer distances. So in this case, we're just going to set up a triangle. Don't worry about your triangle being drawn to scale. Obviously, this one has an obtuse angle in it. So, I mean, I can try to draw an obtuse angle, but it really doesn't matter that much. All they did say was that A is the distance across the river. So if I have a river, I have a measurement over here. Let's say this is this. We'll call this angle A. It's 31.1. I am looking for the distance across the river. Then this is angle C because it's obtuse, 12.9, and that makes this B. So I know this measurement, which is exactly how this would work because they can measure the distance between the side that they're standing on. Okay, so let me put degree marks on the ones that are angles. All right, so the first thing I have to do is I can find my missing angle because at this point, I don't have a completed ratio. I can't use law of sines yet because I don't have an angle and the side across from it. So the first thing I have to do is find that by subtracting from 180. So I'm going to do 180 minus 31.1 minus 112.9. And my missing angle is 36 degrees. All right, so that's angle B. And that's my completed ratio. Now I'm looking for side A. So again, I'm going to put sides on top. So that means I'm going to put 347.6 on top of sine 36 because that is the completed ratio I have. I have angle B and side B. And then I am looking for side A. So I just put A over sine 31.1. And on this particular problem, they didn't ask me to solve the triangle. All they asked me for was side A. So when I finish this, I'm done with this. So I'm just going to multiply both sides by sine 31.1. I'm going to plug it in the calculator just like that. And I get 305.46. And that was feet. All right, so far so good? Yeah. Easy, easy. It really is super smooth. Okay. Okay, so I have a lighthouse, and then I have a ship, and the ship is on a bearing. So do y'all remember doing bearings? We did them earlier. Bearings are not fun, I'm gonna be honest, but it's okay. The bearing is found to be north 16 degrees east. So I'm looking from the lighthouse to the ship, and it is north 16 degrees east. So if this is straight north, then north 16 degrees east means this measurement is just 16 degrees. And up here, I have a ship. So here's my ship. And then the ship sails 6.4 miles due south. So I should put my lighthouse over here so it doesn't look so crazy. This is my lighthouse. So this was my 16-degree measurement. And now this ship is, this measurement is 27 degrees. Well, the 27 is inside of the triangle, and the 16 degrees is not inside the triangle. It's outside of the triangle. But these two lines are parallel to each other. So you have these two lines right here parallel to each other. So you have two parallel lines cut by a transversal, if you remember that from geometry. So even though this original 16 was outside the triangle, this measurement right here is also 16. Because you have this is 16, which means that is also 16, and that this is 6, so it's parallel lines cut by transversal. And so this is alternate interior angles are congruent. So that means this is 16, this is 27, and I could get this. So I am looking for the distance between, so I'm actually looking for the diagonal measurement. So I need to find my missing angle. So I'm going to do 180 minus 16 minus 27 to find my obtuse angle. So this is 137 degrees. I have the completed ratio that I have is my 6.4 and my 27. So I have 6.4 over sine 27 equals, I'm going to put D for distance, over sine of 137. This will be the hardest thing, is to do a bearings problem and draw the picture. That's the hardest part of any of this, because the rest of it's just using the formula and it's super easy. Then I'm just going to plug it in the calculator, just like we've done on all these others. And I get 9.614. And this was miles. Okay, y'all okay? Pretty easy. Okay, so also in the same way that we built that right triangle at the beginning, that we just decided, or we built those two right triangles, we'll just draw in a height. I don't know if y'all remember that from geometry, but you can always do that. You can always, and a height is always drawn to the opposite side at a perpendicular. So you can always do that. So we have to do that sometimes also in order to find area of a triangle. And y'all know the formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. But what if I had to draw in the height and I don't know the height? I can draw it in and I put an H on it, but then I'm going to have to use trig in order to find the height. So there is a formula that saves you a step of having to calculate it all and then plug it into area equals 1/2 base times height. And it's for area of a triangle. And it looks like this. Now, I don't think y'all, this one is not on the formula sheet. So you will have to remember it. And y'all listen to me. This is one of those things. It is so easy. Please don't forget it, because what they'll do is they'll ask you this question and you will have forgotten it. And then you'll take way too much time doing something that's super, super easy. So you will have to memorize it. There's 3 formulas, but I'll show you, you don't really have to memorize all 3. The formula looks like this. A equals 1/2 BC sine A. Okay, so this is one version of it. There are 3 versions. It depends on what angle you have. But notice, if I have big A, look at what 2 letters are in front, B and C. You always have to have all 3 letters. So if I'm looking for area and I have angle B, I have big B, what 2 letters have to go in front? A and C, because you have to have A, B, and C. So in this case, if I have big C, then the letters in front have to be A and B because you have to have A, B, and C. So realistically, you memorize one thing. It's 1/2 side, side,